The news continues on SNN, the Suncoast News Network, your local news leader.
Hello again. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'm Eric Wilson here, filling in for Don Brennan on the SNN Evening Edition. We'll have a look at your Suncoast Weather Authority, but coming up shortly. But first, let's get right into your top stories. A Missouri community is demanding answers after a teenager is hospitalized in a gun incident. During a rally Sunday in Kansas City, attendees called for the charges to be filed against the person who injured Ralph Yarl. The 16-year-old was picking up his siblings, but accidentally went to the wrong address, which is where Mr. Yarl got shot. Leslie DeLabasore reports.
But we are telling a story that is different from the stories that you normally hear. Right now. He is alive and he's healing.
A 16-year-old's family is thankful he's alive.
We want charges. That's what we want.
But they are standing among hundreds in the community.
Justice! When do we want it? Now! We don't get it! Shut it down! We don't get it! Shut it down! We don't get it! Shut it down!
Making their voice heard and presence known, taking a step towards justice, up to the home where Ralph Yarl was shot twice.
It gave me a sickening feeling. I just kept looking back at the house.
As a mother of 3 children, this enrages me.
Community members say they are speaking from a place of pain.
We are not just angry when our babies get shot. We are angry every day because our bodies are hurting, our babies are hurting. We must love and support each other. We must love and support each other.
Crying out for answers, a community is praying for Yarl's family and peace, not stopping until they get justice.
I realize that justice doesn't come overnight, but the fact that there's a kid in the hospital and everything I read says not even a charge has been done, that concerns me.
Just hold this man accountable, and you see that the community came out and supported. We are a community. If one of our children is shot, killed, we all are here.
In Kansas City, Leslie DeLabasore, KSHB 41 News.
Thank you, Leslie. We will continue to follow this story and bring you updates as they are available. In more news, a mother is suing her child's former school, claiming the school didn't tell her the child was using a different gender identity. Her high-powered legal team says this is unconstitutional, while LGBTQ advocates say the school was doing right by the student. David Guilford has more.
If a child identifies themselves with a different gender at school than they do at home, does the school have a constitutional responsibility to tell that child's parents? That's the core of an argument that started here at the Great Salt Bay School in Damariscotta, and it's one that's already gained national attention. Amber Levine of Newcastle is suing the school. Last December, Levine said she found a chest binder used to flatten someone's breasts in her 13-year-old child's room. Levine says the school either provided it or helped obtain it. Then she alleges she learned the school began using different pronouns and names for her child, all without telling her. Her attorneys say that violates Levine's 14th Amendment rights to liberty, arguing the public school infringed on her freedom to educate and raise her child as she saw fit. Those attorneys work for the Goldwater Institute, a conservative think tank based in Arizona that has thrown its weight behind gay and trans cases in the past. Adam Shelton is representing Levine.
What we're saying is that once school officials take an active step with regards to any sort of decision that directly affects the mental health or physical well-being of a child, they must tell the parents. But it's only once the school officials take some sort of affirmative step on their end with respect to a child.
We reached out to the school and the district for comment, but have not yet received a reply. Meanwhile, Mary Bonato, an attorney with GLBTQ Legal Advocates and Defenders, or GLAD, said schools have a responsibility to parents, yes, but their first priority is to the well-being and learning environment for their students.
This is a legal complaint of a parent against a school for doing what schools are supposed to do, which is to be student-centered and to make sure that when students come to school, they have a safe, welcoming, supportive environment where they can be comfortable in their own skin and do what they are supposed to do at school, which is to be able to learn and develop.
Thank you, David. Shelton says Levine wants the court to force the school to create new policies compelling staff to communicate and tell the parents the psychosexual development of students. He expects the case to move forward later this spring. In more news, a pizza delivery driver helped police in Pennsylvania nab a suspect, and his brave act was caught on video. Brianna Gallagher has this story.
A car just came up and beached doing 75. He beached onto the side of this person's lawn, almost took out a couple cars.
Just one of the many delivery stops Tyler Morrell was making today while working for Coco's Pizza Aston. He just so happened to find himself in the middle of a high-speed chase. No! According to Brookhaven Police, just after 3:30 p.m., officers were in pursuit of a stolen car from Upper Darby. The stolen car crashes on Preston Street in Middletown Township. The suspects get out, and that's when Tyler steps in.
I started walking towards the road, and I was like, I can't do anything with my hands because I'm holding the pizza, so I just stuck my leg out.
Police say because of Tyler and his quick feet, they were able to make an arrest.
He gave us the help we needed, which, by tripping him, gave us the time to be able to catch up to the gentleman.
I'm pretty sick of seeing crime like that go on, especially a half a mile down the road. So I was just ready to step up, and if they needed a hand, I was there, or a foot, whatever.
Police were able to arrest both suspects, including the one that took a tumble.
1 second he was in the air, and the next second he was just on the ground.
After all of this, the pizza was delivered safely.
In this case, this guy, ultimately he saved the day, and from what I hear, the pizza was saved as well.
10 out of 10 delivered.
Thank you, Brianna. Authorities have filed multiple charges against the suspects in this case. And in Nebraska, a man is turning military history into music. Phil Whitemarsh is using deck wood from an old battleship to make electric guitars, and it's all for a good cause. John Grinvalls reports.
It started as a passion project during the darker days of the pandemic, taking pieces of history and making them sing. Now, plenty of blood, sweat, and splinters later, what started as deck wood from a ship that saw action in both world wars will make music wherever it goes.
It's so gratifying to see the final product and to know that it is an instrument that can be played and enjoyed, that it takes the life cycle of the material to the next level.
They don't look or sound like your typical glossy music store guitars, and that's the point.
Part of the beauty of these instruments are the nail holes. They are the cracks and holes that have been filled in.
For Phil, this work started with a hypothesis that the rich history of a piece of wood can change its sound. He's working on a guitar with wood from Oak Island, an area scoured for treasure and believed by some to be cursed, to a similar effect.
Whether it comes from factory wood or print shop wood or a homestead, the spirit and the memories of that place and those faces go right into the hard drive of the wood, if you will.
Phil has 2 guitars ready, and at least one will get auctioned off to help the USS Texas as it undergoes $35 million worth of repairs.
Thank you, John. Whitemarsh says he hopes to get more wood from the Battleship Foundation so he can make a series of guitars for charity. And a Milwaukee man drove to Indiana to thank the people who helped save his life. The heart beating in his chest originally belonged to a young man whose parents decided to donate his organs. Karen Campbell has this story.
2 families meeting for the first time.
I ain't as tough a cop as I thought I would.
Law enforcement veteran Keith Thrower came to the Indiana Donor Network.
Man.
All the way from Wisconsin.
All the stuff I used to do, now I can do it again.
To meet Debbie and Dan Patterson. Thrower received their son's heart. Nick was 31.
You want to hear?
Yeah. A gift, Thrower says, that gives him a second chance.
Because I was going to actually get an inscription to thank Nick on my arm.
Nick Patterson died of a drug overdose in 2021.
They don't feel self-worth, a lot of times. So by us donating, I was giving Nick that before he passed. At least, saving 3 people's lives would give him some worth,
Thrower suffered several heart attacks, had triple bypass surgery, and undiagnosed Legionnaire's disease. His doctor said his life was fading fast unless he received a new heart. Thrower got the call that saved his life.
If it wasn't for the Pattersons, I wouldn't be here. So, I mean, I just had to say thank you. It's just something you feel you have to do as a recipient.
You'll get invited this fall to come back and do more.
Nick's name now among others on the Indiana Donor Network wall, something the Pattersons can hold on to, knowing their son could help save a life.
Thank you, Karen. The other two people Nick's mother referred to are patients who received his kidneys. His family decided to also donate both of those organs as well. Coming up next on SNN, the White House rolls out new initiatives for electric vehicles in the U.S. Find out more details after the break.